Hello, everybody. I'm going to be talking about spam calls today and how to avoid them and how to identify different types of spam calls. Our first kind of spam call is called the "Can you hear me?" spam calls. So, most of the time the calls will begin with, "Can you hear me? Are you there? Is this you?" Most of us have been asked these kind of questions in phone calls at least once or twice. News outlets and organizations across the country are reporting that people are receiving calls from individuals who ask questions designed to get a yes answer. If we respond yes, they can record it and therefore get us on the hook for nuisance calls and maybe even unauthorized charges. And this new scheme is called the "Can you hear me" scheme. So when you're on these phone calls and they say, "Is this your name?" Instead of saying yes, say, "My name is," what your name is. That way you are still admitting, "Yes, that is my name," but they can't record you saying the yes and therefore cannot orchestrate more nuisance calls or orchestrate any unauthorized charges to you. A next call that we have, the scam call, is the free stuff calls. The most famous version of this that I know is the Saudi prince, something like that, from some Middle Eastern country calling you and saying, "Hey, I would like to give you all this money," or emails about that, and they're always scams. And I often get calls saying, "Hey, you won this free cruise to wherever," and that's obviously a scam. And if they're ever telling you you've won a free trip, a free cruise, or a hotel stay, be aware of them. They will eventually ask for your private information, saying that they're confirming the trip or planning it for you, whatever it is. But remember that these are not real calls. Always check your phone numbers closely. Scam artists spoof calls to make them appear to be from a local telephone number. If it appears to be local, it is best to avoid calls for numbers which you are not familiar. Hang up, and if you answer a call that seems suspicious, hang up. It is not rude to abruptly hang up on a suspicious caller. In fact, the more time you spend on the phone with a scam artist, the more likely you are to be roped into a scam and to get even more nuisance calls down the road. Basically, if you get a call and it's immediately started with, "Hey, you've won this free trip. We need your full name, maiden name, social security number, any bank information, any of that," go ahead and hang up. The longer you talk to them, the more likely you are to get more and more calls. The more likely you are to hang up on them abruptly, the less they will call you because they figure they're not going to be easy to scam. So hanging up is always your best option here. Warning signs. So unsolicited calls from people claiming to work for a government agency, public utility, or major tech firm like Microsoft or Apple. These are almost always scams. I'm sure some of you have gotten the calls saying your car extended warranty is ending, or a call from the IRS or Social Security. All of these things are scams. If the IRS or Social Security needs to contact you, if the government needs to contact you in any way, you will get a document in the mail that is notarized saying it is from the government or from that individual agency. So that is always a scam call. And they usually only call you unless... They will rarely call you. These institutions, whenever they are actually calling you, it is because you have made a phone call to them. Like with the IRS, it is extremely hard to call them and to talk to them, really. And that is really the only way that you would get a call back from them, is if you have reached out to them and been like, "I need help with this, I need to pay this," whatever it is concerning a bill or a document you may have gotten from them, then that call is considered possibly not scam. A lot of us get unsolicited calls from charity fundraisers. These spike during disasters or after disasters. For instance, if there is a tornado come through our town, then we would probably see an influx of spam calls coming to be the... I just lost my train of thought. Coming to be the Salvation Army, stuff like that. And usually that's not the way that goes, so be careful and do not trust those calls. And all automated sales calls that I have ever gotten have been a scam. These people only call you if you have initiated contact with them. Say you went to visit a dealership to look at cars, you left your information with them, then they would possibly call you. But otherwise, it is always a scam call. And it's always important not to answer calls from unknown numbers. Sometimes they're not scam calls. For instance, I just got a call from an unknown number in Lafayette, Georgia, and it was actually my doctor's office. So that is an example of when it's not a spam call. But usually I'll get calls from Chattanooga, Cleveland, Tennessee, different parts of Georgia, and those are always spam calls. And you can tell right away. There is usually a very robotic voice. And even if the voice sounds normal, like most people's voices do sound on the phone, there will be strange pauses and they sound weird. They're pre-recorded and they leave the spaces so that you can answer and then they answer back. So it makes it seem like a real call, but it is really not. So try not to answer calls from unknown numbers. Don't follow instructions on pre-recorded messages. Or press any key to get taken off a call list. It might lead It might lead to more nuisance calls, spam calls, all that fun stuff. Never give out your personal or financial data. I'd say the only reason to ever give out that data is if you directly call someone. Like if I was to directly call my bank and have it verified that they are my bank, and they asked for my bank account info or something like that, then it is safer to give them my information. But if they're calling me and saying, hey, this is so-and-so, we need your full name, your date of birth, your social security number, all that stuff, it is never a good idea to give that out unless you first initiated contact with someone. So never give that stuff out to callers that you don't know. And if they say they have information for you and need you to confirm your date of birth, social security number, whatever, in order to give you that information, don't do it. It is always a trick. Don't pay registration or shipping charges to get a supposed free product or prize. Such fees are ploys to get your payment information. A lot of us are on the internet, on Facebook or whatever. I'm sure you've always seen those ads that are like, get this free product. All you have to pay is shipping and handling. That is also a scam because once you pay shipping and handling, they have control of your banking information, so they can go ahead and charge you for a product that you're never going to receive. So that is always a scam. Do not fall for that. And if you are buying things online, make sure you use a secure way of doing it. Amazon is a secure payment method. They are a licensed website. I've never had a scam go through that. But if you're using more obscure websites like, say, eBay or Etsy or anything like that, you need to use a secure payment proxy, something that transfers your payment to them, like PayPal or something like that. It's much more secure than just doing it through a website that's not protected. Don't make payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, or wire transfer. Fraudsters favor these methods because they're hard to trace. So, they're asking you to pay for something, telling you, oh, hey, you owe $25 on whatever, and you use a gift card. You might not get that money back because it's hard to trace where that money went to get it back for you. Same way with a prepaid debit card or a wire transfer, it's very hard for you to get that money back because they are so hard to trace. So if you get scammed and you use these methods to pay the scammers, then your money is as good as gone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I have on scam calls. Just remember to be vigilant and just really pay attention. We're all very smart, and we can usually tell when things are amiss and when we shouldn't trust someone on the phone. So just be aware and really think about what that person's talking about and if you trust them or not. And if you have any doubt, then you shouldn't do it. Alrighty. Stay safe, and I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. See you again next time.